Alright, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me just do that to go there. Okay, I actually opened my clock by mistake. Let me go to my main camera. Alright, perfect. We're live, we're live. And guys, finally I figured out on how to go horizontally and vertically live at the same time. I am currently live, right? Horizontally and vertically. Guys, I do apologize for the inconvenience. Okay, that aside, let me go there. Oh, perfect. Let me go to my gameplay screen. Okay, guys, let me know if this stream is going good because I am streaming on. I am streaming like in 4 different places. That makes any sense. So, yeah, where was I? Let me honestly write this whole thing from the start because I had to end the stream a while ago. Let me go with the Control A, delete this. Alright, let me start off by importing Pygame because I would need Pygame. And then let me go ahead and initialize Pygame by typing pygame.init. There we go. Okay, and then since I'm also going to be using Pygame's mixer, so let me go ahead and initialize that. Bro, start. Yeah, finally started. I apologize. I was trying to figure out how to stream vertically and horizontally at the same time. Okay, let me go with pygame.mixer.init. Okay, this initializes Pygame's mixer. What else would I need? I would need to add a few game variables. So let me go ahead and add my game variables. Okay, what all game variables would I need? Let's see. I would need a clock variable for my FPS controller. I'll create a clock variable so that equal to pygame.time.clock dot capitalized clock. Okay. Then let me add a comment that says FPS controller. This is going to be my FPS controller. Let me just check if my stream's going good real quick. It's only me. Okay, there we go. Alright, perfect. That's going good. Guys, gotta make sure this is the first time when I'm streaming horizontally and vertically at the same time. Okay, perfect. Okay, I would need a FPS variable as well for setting my frames per second. I'll set that equal to 0, and then I would need a gravity variable. I'll set gravity to be equal to 0.5. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and create my display. For my display, let me go ahead and add a width variable and a height variable. My width variable is going to be set to 1000 and height variable is going to be set to around 650. Okay, perfect. What else would I need? I'll need a screen variable, also that equal to pygame dot display dot set underscore mode. My mode is going to be in a tuple of my width comma height. Okay, perfect. I actually might add a caption as well, so let me go ahead and add a pygame dot display dot set underscore caption. My caption is going to be something like, I don't know, Calamity 1.1. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me go down right now. Honestly, let's see what else would I need. I would need a windscreen as well. Before my windscreens, I would have to load a few images that I might need to use. So what all images would I need? I'll need my hero image for my player. So I'll go with hero image, set that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give my file path. My file path is going to be game items. Let me just zoom out a bit. Followed by 2//, followed by, let's see, my player, 2 more // my hero PNG. Let me just go here and open my horizontal chats as well. Okay, and since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha as well. There we go. Okay, let me just go there. Yes, am I audible? Okay. I keep opening my vertical chats. Let me go to my horizontal. There. Okay, perfect. Alright, next up I would need my skeleton image, so let me go ahead and load that. I'll go with skeleton underscore image, also that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my skeleton image. My file path is going to be game items, followed by 2//, followed by NPCs, 2 more // my skeleton PNG, and since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. There we go. Okay, and then I might need a dragon image as well for my dragon NPC. So I'll go with dragon underscore image. Also that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give my file path. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2// followed by NPCs, 2 more // my dragon PNG. And again, since it is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, honestly, those are the only images I can think of right now. I will be using music slash sound effects as well. So let me go ahead and load a few sound effects. Okay, what else sound effects would I need? Firstly, I'll need a sound effect if my player collides with my NPC. What sound would my player make? So let me go with a collision underscore SFX. Also, that equal to pygame.mixer.capitalize sound. And I'll give the file path of my sound effect. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2 / followed by SFX, 2 more /. Let's see, my colliding sound effects. Okay, what else would I need? I'll need a sound effect where my player eats the meat. So I'll go with eating eating meat underscore sound effect. So this is going to be my player when he eats some meat sound effect. He will be eating meat because meat is going to be like a random drop that spawns on the screen that my player is going to collect, and if he eats the meat he recovers HP. I'll go with pygame.mixer.capitalize sound. I'll give the file path of my sound effect. So game items followed by 2 / followed by SFX, 2 more /, my eating meat sound effect. Okay, what else would I need? I'll need a drinking potion sound effect as well because my player will be drinking buff potions. So drinking underscore sound effect. Also that equal to pygame.mixer.capitalize sound. I'll give the file path of my sound effect. So it's gonna be game items followed by 2 / followed by SFX, 2 more /, my drinking potion sound effect. And honestly, let me load my meats PNG as well. So I'll go with meat underscore image, my meat underscore image. Let me load that as well. So that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path. The file path will be game items followed by 2 / followed by, let's see, meals followed by 2 more /, my meat PNG. And since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, there we go. Okay, what else would I need? I'll need a potion image as well, so I'll go with my buff pod image. So buff pod image. My buff potion image will be equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my buff potion image. So it's going to be game items followed by 2 / followed by potions. The potions, 2 more /, my buff potion PNG. Okay, and since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Honestly, I might on the fan, guys. It's real hot. Give me a sec. Let me go ahead and on the fan. I'm burning out here. Okay, there we go. Alright, what else would I need? Let's see. Let me go ahead and... Honestly, those are everything I can think of right now. Let me set volumes for my sound effects. So I'll go ahead and add a comment that says set volume for sound effects. There we go. Okay, so I want to set volume for my collision sound effect. So I'll paste that collision sound effect dot the set underscore volume function. My volume will be set to 0.1, which is basically 10%. Let me do the same for eating meat. Okay, I'll go with eating meat sound effect dot set underscore volume. My volume is going to be set to 0.1. Then I'll do the same thing for my drinking sound effect. So I'll paste that drinking sound effect dot set underscore volume. My volume will be 0.1. Okay, perfect. Let's see what else would I need. I would need a floor where my player stands on, so let me go ahead and create floors. My floor will go under my game variable section, so I'll create a floor variable. I'll set that equal to pygame.rect, capitalize rect. Okay, now I'll have to give my floors x-axis, y-axis, width, and height. So what's the x-axis of my floor? I don't know, I'll keep it something like 0. Y-axis is going to be, let's see, around 500. My width is going to be my width variable, which is set to 1000. Lastly, my height will be around 300. Okay, did I spell my width variable wrong? Okay, let me get my game variables or my display above my game variables, guys, because scope resolution does matter. There we go. Okay, I added my floor. Next up, I'll need to add win screens and lose screen. If my player wins, what screen will show up? If my player loses, what screen will show up? So let me go ahead and do that. I'll go with win screen. Okay, for win screen, I'm gonna go ahead and load a win screen underscore UI. This is gonna be the UI that's gonna load once my player wins the game. I'll go with pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my image. The file path is going to be game items followed by 2 / followed by screens, 2 more /. This is going to be screens. There we go. 2 more /, win screen PNG. I won't be using this as a PNG, so I will just convert it. I won't convert it to alpha. Okay. And honestly, I might have to transform my images as well. So let me go ahead and transform my images. So under my load images, I'll go ahead and add a transform and scale comment. There we go, and maybe add a S here. Okay, so to transform and scale my images, let me go with transform. There we go. Am I spelling transform wrong? There. Okay, so to transform my image, I'll go ahead and define a scale function. My scale function will have two parameters. The first is going to be image and the second is going to be factor. Factor is basically the size. I'll set my factor to be 0.1 by default, which is 10%. Okay, and then let me go ahead and return something. I'll go ahead and return pygame.transform.scale. Okay, there we go. What do I want to transform? I want to transform my image. What is the size going to be? The size is going to be in a tuple. I'll go to a new line, go with integer. Okay, my size will be my images width multiplied by my factor. So I'll get my images width. So image.get_width. And then I'll multiply that by my factor, which is set to 0.1 by default. I'll do the same thing for my images height. I'll go with integer. Then go with image.get_height. I'll get the height of my image and then I'll multiply that by my factor. Okay, perfect. Now let me go ahead and scale my images. So firstly, I want to scale my hero image. So I'll go with hero_image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my hero_image. I'll let the factor be 0.1 by default. Then let me go ahead and add my dragon_image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my dragon_image. Then let me do the same thing for my... This is honestly going to be my skeleton image. Now for my dragon image, I'll paste my dragon image, set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my dragon_image. Let me do the same thing for my meat image. Let me copy that, paste it here. My meat image is going to be equal to my scale function. I want to scale my meat_image. Although I don't want my meat_image's size to be 0.1, which is the same as my player and my NPCs. I want it to be relatively smaller than them. So let me change this to 0.05. Okay, perfect. So let me go ahead and do the same thing for my potion image. Paste that here, so that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my buff potion_image. The size is going to be the same as my meat image, which is going to be 0.05. I honestly might need a a coin image as well that my player collects to like get scores. So let me go ahead and create that. I'll go with coin_image. I'll set that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my coin image. My file path is going to be game item followed by 2 forward slashes followed by, let's see, drops, 2 more forward slashes, my gold coin PNG. And since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. So dot convert alpha. Okay, perfect. Now let me transform my coin image as well. I'll go with coin image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my coin image. The size is going to be the same as my meat image and my potion image, 0.05. Okay, perfect. Now with that out of the way, let me go ahead and scale my windscreen UI as well. I'll copy that, paste it, and I'll set it equal to. This time, I won't be invoking my scale function because I don't want my windscreen UI to like be 0.10% of my display. Instead, I want it to cover my entire window. So I'll go with pygame.transform. There we go, .scale. I want to scale my windscreen UI, and this time the size is not going to be a factor. Instead, I mean, this is technically a factor, the size, but instead the size is going to be my display's width and my height. Okay, this is the size. Alright, and then I honestly might need a font as well because I am going to be like saying my player to like press R to play again if he wins and like press R to restart if he loses. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll go with win_text_font. I'll set that equal to pygame.lowercase font.capitalized font. My font type will be none. That is basically Pygame's default font. And my size is going to be around 50. Okay, perfect. Let me do the same thing for my lose screen. This is going to be if my player loses. Okay, so I'll go ahead and create a lose_screen_UI. This is going to be the UI that's going to be shown if my player loses a match. I'll add a pygame.image.load. I'll load a image. So my image is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by screens, 2 more forward slashes, my loose screen PNG. Okay, and since this is not like I'm not going to be using this as a PNG, I won't convert it to alpha. Instead, I will just convert it. Okay, and then let me go ahead and transform this. Let me copy my loose screen UI, paste it here. Also, that equals to pygame.transform. Okay, dot scale. What do I want to scale? I want to scale my loose screen UI. The size is going to be in a tuple of my display's width and my display's height. Okay, perfect. Now I would need a font as well. So like, for example, if my player loses, I would want to say something like "You lost!" exclamation. Press R to play again. So let me go with my lose underscore text underscore font. I'll set that equal to pygame dot lowercase font. I spelled pygame wrong. Pygame dot lowercase font dot capitalized font. There we go. Okay, my font type will be none, which is basically Pygame's default font. The size is going to be 50. Okay, perfect. What else would I need? I would honestly need score as well to like add a score font. I might actually add that under my game variables. I'll go with score underscore text underscore font variable. Also that equal to pygame dot lowercase font dot capitalized font. My font type will be none and my size is going to be 36. Okay, perfect. I think that's pretty much it. Let me go ahead and start creating classes now. So the first class that I'm going to be creating is going to be my game class. The reason I am creating a game class is because it is going to be useful when I like reset the entire game. I wouldn't have to like specifically get all the or like type out all the separate elements. Instead, I can just add a reset method inside of my game class. That sounded a little complicated, but let me show you guys what I mean. I'll define a dungeon init constructor. Here we go. It won't have any parameters, although let me go ahead and add a few instance variables now. For example, this instance variable is going to be for my game state. Game state is basically if I won a game, if I lost a game. So for my game state, I'll go with self.game underscore won. Also that equal to false because I haven't won yet. Let me go with self.game underscore lost. Also that equal to false as well. Since I haven't lost yet, let me go ahead and add another comment for something like collision flag. Collision flag is basically to check if my player collided with either of my NPCs. So what all NPCs do I have? I have a skeleton NPC and a dragon NPC. So let me go with self.skeleton, excuse me guys, underscore collision. Also that equal to false since my player hasn't collided with my skeleton yet. Let me go ahead and add a let's see, dragon underscore collision since my player hasn't collided with a dragon yet. Also that equal to false. Okay, let me just check if my stream's going good on Twitch. Kick underscore collision. Okay, stream's going good on Twitch. Let me check on Kick. Okay, Kick's going good as well. Let me check on there we go. Okay, perfect. With that out of the way, what else would I need? Let's see. I honestly might need a okay, since I can't think of anything, let me go ahead and create my game object. Also that equal to my game class. Okay, my game class. Alright, perfect. Now since I can't think of any other instance variables that I'll need eventually to like reset my game, I'm going to be creating my actual classes. So the first class is going to be a move class. Okay, this is going to be class. Okay, for my move class, what all would I need? I'll need to define a dungeon init. So let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. And then what other parameters would I need? I'll need a x-axis underscore velocity parameter for my player's horizontal movement and a y-axis underscore velocity parameter as well for my player's y-axis movement. Next up, let me create a few instance variables. Self.x-axis underscore velocity equals to x-axis underscore velocity. Self.y-axis underscore velocity equals to y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, that's basically it for my move class. Now, I will be creating another class for my game object. And guys, my move class is a grandparent class since my game object is going to inherit from my move class and my other regular classes are going to be inheriting from my game objects class, which inherits from my move class. So let me go with move class, and the reason they're inheriting is because all my objects or classes are going to be needing a x-axis underscore velocity, y-axis underscore velocity, images, recs, and masks. So With that out of the way, let me go ahead and define a dungeon_init constructor. Okay, my dungeon_init constructor will have a few parameters like image, position. Position is going to be set to a tuple of 0 and 0 for now. I think that looks much more neater. Okay, honestly, that's pretty much it. I might have to go with x-axis underscore velocity and y-axis underscore velocity as well. Okay, I'll set them both to be equal to 0 by default. Alright, perfect. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add a super dungeon_init. So let me get a super.dungeon_init. Okay, so basically, what I will have to fill inside of my super dungeon_init, I'll have to fill in all the parameters from the class that I'm inheriting from. Since I'm inheriting from the move class, I'll have to fill in all the parameters of the move class. The only two parameters that my move class has is x-axis velocity and y-axis velocity. So I'll go with my move class is x-axis underscore velocity. Also, that equals to my game object x-axis underscore velocity, which is set to 0 by default. And then my move class's y-axis underscore velocity is going to be equal to my game object's class's y-axis underscore velocity, which is set to 0 by default as well. Okay, perfect. And then let me go ahead and create a few instance variables. What kind? First, I'll need an image instance variable, which is going to be equal to my image parameter up here. Next up, I'll go ahead and create a rect, a self.rect instance variable. So that equals to pygame. My bad, guys. Self.image.get underscore rect function, and my function's position is going to be at the top left, which is going to be equal to my position parameter here, which is set to 0 and 0 by default. And then I would need a mask, so I'll go with self.mask. And what are masks? Masks, basically, the reason I am creating masks is because I'm going to be using pixel perfect collision. What is pixel perfect collision? Basically, pixel perfect collision is when one pixel collides with another pixel, if that made any sense. Okay, to add pixel perfect collision, I'll go with pygame.mask.from underscore surface. Okay, what is going to be my surface? My self.image is going to be my surface. Okay, perfect. These are basically all the parameters that I'm going to be needing. Now let me go ahead and define a few methods. What all methods would my move class need? Before thinking what all methods would they need, I should think that what all method all my classes are going to have. All my classes, actually not all my classes, my player class is going to be having a move method. I could add the move method here as well, or directly add the move method inside of my player class. All my NPCs are going to be having a, automate class. They all have to move on their own. All my NPCs are going to be needing a loop method where like they loop in the screen and they just don't exit the display after being automated. And all of my NPCs or of my classes are going to be having a draw method. So let me go ahead and let me start off by adding a move class. My move class is going to have a parameter of keys to it. For the time being, honestly, I will add pass as a placeholder since I didn't add my hero class yet. Okay, that aside, let me go ahead and define a automate method now. So I'll define a automate method, and basically what automate means, automation is when something moves on their own. That won't have any parameters. So I'll go with my self.rect.x-axis. I will increase that. Honestly, I will decrease that since my player is gonna be going towards the right. If my player went towards the left, that would be increasing. Okay. So I'll decrease my self.rect.x-axis by my self.x-axis underscore velocity. This is basically for automation, but with this automation formula, they're going to be moving in one direction forever. They won't be coming back. They're going to exit our display. So let me go ahead and add a loop here. What kind of loop would I need? Let me add a if statement. If my self.rect.x-axis, if my NPC's x-axis is less than 0, if my NPC goes beyond 0 of my window size, I'll reset my self.rect.x-axis. I'll reset my enemy's x-axis to be equal to 850. Okay, that's honestly basically it for the automate. Next up, let me go ahead and define a draw method. This is going to be pretty easy. My draw method will have a parameter of surface to it. Surface will be set to screen by default. Let me fix the spelling of surface. There we go. Okay, and then I'll go with surface.theBlit function. I want to blit my self.image for my player's image and self.rect for my player's rectangle. Okay, perfect. That's basically it for my game objects class. I will work on my move class. I could work on it inside of my player class or inside of my hero class. Let me honestly do that. Both would honestly work the exact same. That aside, let me go ahead and create a class for my hero. I'll create a hero class, and my hero class will be inheriting from my game objects class. So let me inherit that from my game objects class. And what else would my player need? My player would need a dungeon init constructor. What all parameters would my hero need? My hero would need a image parameter. I'll set that equal to my hero image that I loaded up. My hero would need a position parameter. I'll set that equal to a tuple of, I don't know, 100 by 300. My player will be to the top right of the screen, okay? And then my player would need a x-axis underscore velocity. I'll set that equal to 5 pixels per frame. Y-axis underscore velocity, also that equal to 5 pixels per frame again. And lastly, my hero would need a, let's see, a jump strength, because my hero will be able to jump as well. My jump strength will be equal to -4 by default. If you guys can see, I had a jump strength here. Okay, now let me zoom in a little. Next up, let me go ahead and define a super dungeon init. So I'll go with super pair of parentheses dot dungeon init. Okay. A super dungeon init. My super dungeon init will have all the attributes, not attributes, all the parameters from the class that my hero class is inheriting from. Since my hero class is inheriting from the game objects class, I am going to be adding all the parameters that my objects class have. My objects class has a image parameter, position parameter, x-axis velocity parameter, and y-axis velocity parameter. So let me add those. I'll go with image, I'll set that equal to my hero's image. I'll go with position, I'll set that equal to my hero's position. I'll go with x-axis underscore velocity. I'll set that equal to my hero's x-axis underscore velocity. Y-axis underscore velocity, I'll set that equal to my hero's y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, and then I wouldn't add my jump strength here because since my game objects class doesn't have a jump strength parameter to it, I will create a instance variable for my jump strength. So self.jump underscore strength equals to jump strength. Okay, perfect. And now let me go ahead and define a few methods for my hero class. So let me go ahead and define a method called a move method. My move method will have a parameter of keys to it. This is going to be lowercase move. There we go. Which will have a parameter of keys. Now let me add a bunch of if statements. So if my keys at index of pygame.k is right, if my hero clicked the right key, I want him to move towards the right. So I'll go with self.rect.x-axis. My hero's x-axis is going to increase by my self.x-axis underscore velocity. My hero's x-axis velocity, which is set to 5 pixels per frame. And I'll do the same for the left. If my keys at index of pygame.k is left, if my left key is pressed, I will decrease my hero's x-axis underscore velocity, self.rect.x-axis. I'll decrease it by my self.x-axis underscore velocity. Okay, and lastly, if my keys at index of pygame.k is space, if my hero or if my space bar is clicked, I will set my self.y-axis underscore velocity, my hero's y-axis underscore velocity, to be equal to my self.jump strength, to my hero's jump strength, which is set to -4. So whenever my hero hits the space bar, he's going to be going upwards 4 pixels per frame. Okay, that's basically it for my move method. Next up, let me go ahead and define a method to apply gravity, because if I hit space, my hero is going to be flying up, but then he won't be falling down. So let me go ahead and define a method for apply underscore gravity. Let's apply gravity to my player. Okay, my apply gravity won't have any parameters, although I will increase my self.y-axis underscore velocity, my hero's y-axis underscore velocity, by my gravity variable, which is set to 0.5. So whenever my hero or whenever my player hits the space bar, he is going to be jumping upwards -4 pixels per frame. But then that -4 pixels per frame is going to increase by 0.5, which is my gravity that's going to pull him positive 0.5 per frame. Okay, if that made any sense. And then I'll set my self.rect.y-axis. My hero's y-axis will increase by my self.y-axis underscore velocity. So this basically simulates gravity inside of PyPython, but my hero will be falling endlessly without any place to land for. So let's focus on adding a landing now. Let me add a comment that says landing. For my landing, let's see. Okay, for my hero's landing, I'll add a if statements. If my self.rect.bottom, if my hero's bottom, my hero's leg is greater than or equal to my floor variable's y-axis, then I will do something. I'll set my self.rect.bottom, my hero's bottom, to be equal to my floor's y-axis. What this basically means is if my hero's pretend that this pen's leg is my hero's bottom, so that's my hero's bottom. If he's above my floor's y-axis or he's touching my floor's y-axis, he will stay there. He won't go under my floor, if that made any sense. Okay, and then let me go ahead and reset my y-axis underscore velocity. Sub.y-axis underscore velocity is going to be equal to 0. This basically means that my hero's y-axis underscore velocity 0, so he needs to hit spacebar again in order for him to jump back up and the gravity to pull him back down. Okay, perfect. Next up, my hero, honestly, I think that's all the methods that my hero would need. So let me go ahead and create a class for my skeleton now. I'll create a class for my skeleton. My skeleton class will inherit from my game objects class again, since he will need a image, mask, and rect. So let me go ahead and define a dungeon in it for my skeleton. Now, what all parameters would my skeleton need? My skeleton would need an image parameter to show his skeleton image that I loaded. Also, that equals to my skeleton underscore image. My skeleton would need a position. Where is he going to be located on the screen? That is going to be equal to a tuple of, I don't know, maybe 500 by 300. Okay, and then my skeleton would need x-axis velocity as well. So I'll go with x-axis underscore velocity. I'll set that equal to, let's see, around 5 pixels per frame, and then y-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to 5 pixels per frame as well. Honestly, y-axis underscore velocity isn't going to be that necessary for the game that I'm making right now. I'm just adding it. It's a good practice. Honestly, it's not a good practice. I'm just adding it out of habit. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create a super.dunder init. Okay, my super dungeon init will have all the parameters that my game objects class have, and since my game objects class also inherits from my move class, so I'll need to add all the parameters that my move class has and my game objects class have. My game objects class does have a x-axis underscore velocity parameter, also that equal to my skeleton's x-axis underscore velocity parameter. My game objects class have a y-axis underscore velocity parameter, also that equal to my hero's y-axis underscore velocity parameter image, also that equal to my hero's image parameter position, also that equal to my hero's position parameter. And just to make sure if you guys can see everything, let me just zoom out a bit. Okay, perfect. That's basically it. And honestly, my hero won't need, or my skeleton class won't need any methods, since all the methods that he will ever need is inside of my game objects class, unless I ever choose to add a specific method related to only my skeleton class. I don't have that for now, so let me go ahead and create a class for my dragon as well. Honestly, I could just change this up. I could use this class for my dragon and skeleton, but just to make it more organized, I'll create a specific class for dragon as well. I'll go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. Now, what all parameters would my dragon class need? My dragon class would need an image parameter, also that equal to my dragon underscore image. My dragon class would need a position parameter as well, also that equal to, let's see, I want my dragon to be higher than my player and my skeleton, so the x-axis velocity is going to remain 500, but the y-axis underscore velocity is going to be, I think, 100. That's going to be higher than 300. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a x-axis underscore velocity, also that equal to 6 pixels per frame, and a y-axis underscore velocity, also that equal to 6 pixels per frame as well. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add a super dot dunder init, super parentheses dot dunder init. Okay, my super dungeon init. My super dungeon init will have all the parameters that my my game objects class have, and since my game objects class inherits from my move class, so I'll need to add my move class parameter and my game object class's parameters. Let's start with my move class's parameters. So x-axis underscore velocity is going to be equal to my dragon's x-axis velocity. Okay, y-axis underscore velocity is going to be equal to my dragon's y-axis underscore velocity. Image is going to be equal to my dragon's image. Position is going to be equal to my dragon's position. That's basically it for my dragon class as well. Next up, what else? What other classes would I need? I would need a drops class, since I am going to be dropping random gold coins in the screen every 4 seconds, and if my player collects that gold coin, he is going to be getting a score. So let me create a class for my game drops. Okay, my game drops class is going to inherit from my game objects class as well, since I would need whatchamacallit. Let's see, images, recs, and masks. So let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. Okay, my dungeon init constructor, let's see, will it have any, what other parameters would it have? My drops won't need a position, since my position is going to be randoms, but my drops would need an image. I'll go with a image parameter and a position. Since my position is going to be random and I don't know what position it is currently, I'll change that, I'll set that to be equal to none. And then let me, okay, I don't add x-axis underscore velocity and y-axis underscore velocity, since my drops wouldn't want to move. I don't want them to move, I want them to like stay in one place. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add a super perf parentheses dot dungeon init. Now, my super dungeon init will need all the parameters from my move class and my game objects class, but I do have a x-axis underscore velocity inside of my game, inside of my move class and game objects class. How am I gonna avoid that? So we just do that in a bit. I'll add an if statement, honestly. I'll go with if my position is none. If my position is set to none, I'll do something. Okay, since I am going to be working with random modules now, with random events, I'll go ahead and import the random module. Okay, now I go down and I set my position. Okay, I reassign my position, which is currently set to none, to be equal to a tuple. My tuple will have a random.randint. Okay, okay, the position is going to be 50, comma, my display's width, which is set to 1000 minus 50, and then outside the tuple I'll go with a comma. Maybe I go to a new line and now add my y-axis. I'll go with my random module dot the randint function. My randomness is going to be 50, comma. This time, instead of going with height, I am going to be going with my floor's y-axis. Why? Because if I went with my height, it would like spawn my random drops underneath my my floor as well. But my player can go below my floor, because if you guys were in the stream like for 20 whole minutes, you guys would know that if my player like lands on my floor, he cannot go under my floor. So I'm going to be adding my floor's y-axis minus 50. So everything is going to spawn above my floor. Nothing is going to spawn under my floor. Okay, perfect. Now, outside the if statement, I created a super dungeon init. Let me go ahead and fill in the parameters now. My image is going to be equal to my image. My position is going to be equal to, let's see, my position variable. Although my super dungeon init will need my x-axis velocity and y-axis velocity as well. So I'll go with x-axis underscore velocity. I'll set that equal to 0 because I don't want my drops to move. I'll go with y-axis underscore velocity. I'll set that equal to 0 as well because I don't want my drops to move. Now let me check if my stream's going good everywhere. Am I like audible? Okay, let me check on Kick. Let me just refresh that. Isn't like my Kick's chat going good? Did I like okay, there we go, it is live. Alright, perfect. Let me check on Twitch. Okay, perfect. Twitch going live as well. Lastly, let me check if my vertical stream's going good. Okay, vertical stream's going good as well. Alright, perfect. Okay, next up, let's see. What else would I need? I honestly might need a health bar class since my player will be having a health bar. So let me go ahead and create that. I'll create a class called health bar. Okay, my health bar class honestly won't inherit from my game objects class, since although I would need images, recs, and masks, I will be having a specific let's see, I will be keeping like adding my health bars location to a specific location, so my draw method from here won't be useful. Although I could inherit from my health bar class, from my game objects class, but I would have to, like, whatchamacallit, let's see, I would have to create a separate draw method. So I'll go with game objects. This honestly would just be the same. Let me drink some water. Guys, really exhausted. Okay, my health bar class will have a dungeon init constructor. Okay, so let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. Right there. Define dungeon init. Did I define it correct? Okay, pretty sure I did. I got a self parameter. Okay, perfect. So what all parameters will my health bar class have? It is going to be having a max underscore HP parameter, which is going to be set to 100. So when my player starts a game or like loads in a game, he is going to have 100 HP. Actually, that would be my current HP. Let me create a few instance variable. I'll go with self.current underscore HP. I'll set that equal to my max underscore HP parameter, since my player's current HP is going to be max HP when he loads in the game. Then let me go ahead and create a self.max underscore HP instance variable, which is going to be equal to my max underscore HP, because my max HP is going to be 100. And honestly, I don't think that I would need any other instance variables. So let me go ahead and actually I need one more instance variable, which is going to be my HP underscore path. This is going to be equal to a dictionary. I'm going to be loading all my health bar PNGs here. So firstly, for my 0 HP PNG, once my player has 0 HP, let's see, I'll do something. I'll go with pygame dot image dot dot load. I'll give the file path of my 0 HP PNG. So it is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by health bar, 2 more forward slashes, 0 HP PNG. And again, since this is a PNG, I will be converting this to alpha. Convert alpha. There we go. And then let me go ahead and honestly, to save time, I might just copy this right there. There. Okay, let me copy that and paste it like 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And now I just change these. Let me change that to 20, 20, change 0 to 40, 40, change 0 to 60, 60, change 0 to 80, 80, and lastly change 0 to 100 and 100. Okay, perfect. Remove the comma. Alright, now that I loaded my images, let me go ahead. Why does it show me a yellow error? Oh, that is because I inherited from my game objects class. Let me go ahead and add a super.dungeon init. Okay, my super dungeon will have all the parameters of my game objects class, which means image, which is going to be equal to. Okay, honestly, I wouldn't need a image yet, so I might just not inherit from my game objects class. There we go. Okay, let me create a few more instance variables. So the first is going to be self.image, which is going to be equal to, let's see. Honestly, I might add image later because I don't need my image yet. I would need rect though. Image is going to be that. So yeah, I might actually not need image here because I already have my images file path here. Okay, now let me iterate over my file path. So I'll go with a for loop. So for every, let's say, key in my self.hp path, for every key in my self.hp path, I'm going to be scaling my HP path. So I'll go with self.hp path at index of key. This basically gives me every single separate index here, like 0 HP's key is going to be this, 20 is going to be that. Okay, I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my self.hp path at index of key. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's see what else would I need. Okay. Honestly, that's pretty much it for my instance variables. Let me go ahead and define a method now. So I'll define a take underscore damage method. The take underscore damage. So what does the take damage method do? Basically, my player won't take damage. Instead, my health bar is going to take damage. And my damage method will have a parameter of amount to it. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and reassign my self.current HP, my player's current HP, to be equal to how much damage will I take. So I will go with a max function and I'll set that to be 0. My player's HP can go below 0, like my player can have negative HP. Okay, and then I'll go with self.current HP, my player's current HP minus my amount. Okay, that's basically it for my take damage. Let me go ahead and define a heal method as well. Since my player would want to heal as well, my heal method will have a amount parameter. Okay, my health bar would have a heal parameter, so I'll go with self.current HP. I'll reassign that, so that equal to, this time instead of going with max, I will go with min. My min is going to be 100. I don't want my player's HP to go above 100, so let me go with self.current HP. My current HP is gonna increase by my amount, by my healing amount. Okay, perfect. Next up, my player would need my health bar would need a draw method. So I'm gonna define a draw method, and this draw method isn't gonna be anything like the draw method inside of my my game objects class, but I would need a surface parameter, so that equal to screen by default. Okay, and then I would need a, let's see, hero underscore rect parameter. Since I don't know my hero's current position, I'll set that equal to none. Basically, hero underscore rect is my hero's rectangle. I want the health bar to be above my hero's head. So I would need to iterate over my dictionaries again. I did iterate over them once, but this was for my, for scaling them. Now I iterate over my dictionaries again since I want to change my individual keypads depending on my hero's HP. If my hero has 100 HP, this PNG is going to show. If he has 80 HP, that's going to show 60, that 40, that 20, that, and 0, that. You guys get these stuff it. So what do I do for that? Let's see. I'll create another variable. I'll name this something like HP underscore key. I'll set that equal to max, and now I'll add a conditional expression. Here I'm going to be iterating over my dictionary. For every k in my, let's see, self dot HP path, okay, for every key in my HP path, if my k is less than or equal to my self dot current HP, if my key is less than or equal to my self dot current HP, I return my key. This basically means whatever HP my player has, that HP's key is going to be showing. Like if my player has something like 27 HP, it's going to be showing the 20 HP key. If he has 37 HP, it won't show anything, so it's going to be showing the 40 HP. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create an image variable. Also, that equal to pygame dot. Okay, I'll set that equal to self dot my HP path at index of HP key. Okay, perfect. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and add x-axis and y-axis. The reason I'm adding x-axis and y-axis is because I want to add specification for my HP bar to be shown, which is going to be my player's head in this case. So, how would I do that? Let's see. I would need to create a object for my hero class, because now I am going to be accessing my hero class. I will create my hero object inside of my game class. So let's see, I'll create a self.hero. My hero class will be equal to my hero class. There we go. Okay, so I'll go with x-axis, which is going to be equal to my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect my hero's rex x-axis, actually center x. This is going to be the center of my hero. So with this, I find the center of my hero, and now I'll subtract that minus that by my images center. So to get my images center, I'll type image dot get underscore width. I get the width of my image, the complete width of my image, then I divided by 2. The reason I'm using 2 division sign, which is also known as a floor division, is because I want to get the middle part of my my image's width, and that middle part is going to be shown on my player. Okay. Now for y-axis, I'll set my y-axis to be equal to my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect. This time, instead of center x, I'll go with top, because I want the player's vertical to be above my hero's head. If I went with bottom, it would be under my hero's shoes, if that made any sense. Okay, so I'll go with top. minus my image dot get underscore height. I'll get the height of my image and I'll subtract that by negative 80. And why did I subtract it by specifically negative 80? You guys can like play with this negative 80 number. The reason it is negative 80 is because that is exactly going to be above my PNG's head. If this was 100, like minus 100, it would be like way above my hero's head. If it was negative 100, it would be way below my hero's shoes, if that made any sense. Next up, let me go ahead and blend it on my screen. So I'll go with surface, which is set to screen by default, so you guys could think it's screen. Screen.blit or surface.blit. I want to blit my image on my screen, which is my hero's image or my health bar's image. I keep saying hero. Position will be my x-axis and y-axis. The dest will be my x-axis and y-axis. Okay, that's pretty much it for my health bar class. Next up, I will need a buff bar class as well, since I do want to add a buff system. So let me go ahead and create a class for my buff bar. Okay, my buff bar class, just like my health bar class, won't inherit from anyone. I will have a dungeon in it, so let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor and add a few parameters. Let's see. My buff bar would have a max underscore buff underscore HP parameter of what is the max HP of my buff. I'll keep it short, like max underscore buff. Pretend this is the same as max underscore buff underscore HP. This is my buff bar's HP. I'll set it equal to 100 by default, so my player does have 100 HP by default. Then let's see. Okay, I'll create a few instance variables. For example, instance variable for self dot current underscore buff. How much HP does my buff bar currently have? So that equal to 0 because I don't want my player to have any HP, any buff HP when he spawns in the game. Although, let's see, what else would I need? I'll need a self dot max underscore buff, the max buff of my player, which is going to be equal to my max underscore buff instance variable here, which is set to 100. And then a self dot active is my buff currently active. When my player starts the game, it will not be active. And a self dot let's see, buff underscore time, which is going to be equal to my time module dot the time function. I need to import my time module. Let me just fix my spelling. There we go. Did I spell active wrong? There we go. Okay, so what does the buff time mean? Buff time is basically, I don't want my buff to last like my buff bar. I just want it to last for 5 seconds after my player drinks the buff potion. So that's the reason I add a time.time. Time.time tracks the exact time my buff spawned on the screen or my buff bar was drawn on the screen. Let me go ahead and import time module for accessing the time module, and then let me honestly import sys as well. The reason I imported sys is because I will be adding a sys.exit that like closes Python. That is optional though. Okay, now with these parameters out of the way, let me go ahead and define methods. What all methods would my buff bar need? My buff bar might need a, let's say, activate buff method to like activate my buffs. So let me go ahead and create a activate underscore buff method. My activate buff method will have a amount parameter to it. Okay, perfect. Okay, once my buff is activated, I'll set my self.activate, which is currently set to false. I'll set that equal to true. Okay, and then I'll go with self.current buff. How much current buff do I have after it gets activated? I'll set that equal to my amount, because I would be like, what you would call it, hero.activate buff and the amount. Give my hero 100 buff, give my hero 20 buff. So that's the reason I can set it to amount there. And then I'll go with self.buff time. That is going to be equal to my time module w time function. Okay, perfect. Honestly, that is pretty much it for my activate buff method. Next up, let me go ahead and define a take underscore damage parameter. The reason I have a take damage parameter is because while my buff is activated, I want my health bar to take damage. I want my buff bar to take damage instead of my health bar. And my take damage method is going to be having amounts parameter to it. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add a if statement. Now, if activate, if my activate is set to true, or if self.activate. Okay, if my self.activate is set to true, I'll do something. Let's see. I'll go with self dot current buff, my buff bar's current HP, also that equal to max, and then let's have 0. My buff bar can go below 0 HP, my buff bar can have negative HP. Then let me go with self dot current buff minus my amount. Okay, and just so you can see it, I'll zoom out a bit. Okay, and then let me add another if statement. If my self dot current buff, if my buff bar's current health is less than or equal to 0, I'll set my self dot activate to be equal to false. Which basically means is my take damage method only works if my activate is set to true, and if my buff bar's HP is 0 or lower than 0, my buff bar is going to be equal to false. That means I won't take damage anymore. Buff bar won't take damage anymore, so my health bar will take damage. Okay, let me go ahead and define. Honestly, I don't think my buff bar needs a heal method, yeah, because my buff bar just lasts for like 5 seconds. Okay, so let me go ahead and define a draw method for my buff bar. Maybe zoom in a little. Okay, my draw method is going to be having a few parameters. For example, a surface parameter, which is going to be equal to screen by default, and a hero underscore rect parameter, which is going to be equal to none for now because I don't know the location. Okay, the reason I'm adding a hero underscore rect is because I want my buff bar to be slightly above my health bar. So let me go ahead and actually load my my buff bar's images. So let me go with self.buff underscore path, my buff bar images path, which is going to be equal to a dictionary. And now for my 0 buff bars PNG, I'll go with pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by buff bar 2 more forward slashes, my 0 HP PNG buff bar. And since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. There we go. Then add a comma, and just so you guys can see, I'll zoom out a bit. And to just save time, I'll copy that. Go to a new line, paste it. That's 20 HP, 40 HP, 60 HP, 80 HP, 100 HP. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me just change the numbers here. So 0 HP is going to be 20 HP, 20 HP, 40 HP, 40 HP, 60 HP, 60 HP, 80 HP, 80 HP, lastly 100 HP and 100 HP. Okay, perfect. Now that I've loaded my images, I would want to scale my buff bar images as well. So let me go to a new line and scale my buff bar images. For every key in my self.buff path, dictionary, I'll get my, I'll scale my keys. So I'll go with self.buff path at index of key. So that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my self.buff path at index of key. Okay, perfect. Let me just check if my stream's doing good. Because guys, this is the first time I'm streaming like on so many places at one time. Gotta make sure it's going properly. Let me check on Twitch. Okay, Twitch stream's going good. Why does it say my Twitch stream started 4 minutes ago? Okay, let me check Kick. Okay, Kick stream looks good as well. Alright, perfect. Okay, Alright. Okay, now that I've transformed my images, let me go ahead and let's see. That's basically it. So under my draw method, let me find the specific, let me iterate over my images again. And if my image is less, I'm going to be, depending on my image, I will blend that image on my screen, if that made any sense. I'll go with buff underscore key variable, also that equal to max function. Let's see. I'll add a conditional expression for every key in my self.buff path. This gives me every individual key from my buff path. I'll add a if statement. If my key is less than or equal to my self.current buff, if my key is less than or equal to my self.current buff, for example, if my key is like 40, if I have like 40 HP, current buff is, by the way, my current buffs, my buff bar's HP. So if my buff bar's HP is 100, that's going to give me this PNG. If my buff bar's HP is 40, it's going to give me that PNG. If my buff bar's HP is 0, it's going to give me that PNG. Okay, if that happens, I will return K. That gives me the current HP of my buff bar. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create an image parameter. I will set that equal to, let's see. Let me go with my self dot buff path at index of buff key. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and create a x-axis and y-axis. My x-axis will be equal to my game object dot my hero object dot my hero's rectangle center centers x-axis. This is basically my hero center, which is right here. I will subtract that by my images center as well. So to get my images center, I'll go with image dot get underscore width. I'll get the width of my image, and I'll divide it by 2. That basically means is once I get my image, I go to the center because I divided by 2. And the reason I am using 2 divisions, also known as floor division, is because using 1 division could have a chance of giving me a fraction or a floating point number. Having 2 division sides or 2 slashes gives me an integer. Next up, for my y-axis, I'll set that equal to my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot let's go with top dot rect dot top. The reason I went with top is because I want my health bar and I want my buff bar to be drawn above my hero's head. If I went to the bottom, it would be drawn under my hero's leg. Minus my image dot get underscore height. I'll get the height of my image and I'll subtract that by -50. And again, -50, these are just for visuals. You can play around. Like my health bar was -80 and my buff bar is -50. That basically means my buff bar is going to be slightly above my health bar. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a surface.blit. I want to blit something to my surface. I want to blit my image to my surface. The position will be x-axis and y-axis. Okay, got me out of breath, I guess. I'll drink some water real quick. Give me a shake, guys. Okay. Let's see. Those were honestly all the classes that I could think of. What else would I need? Oh my gosh, I just spilled all the water in my face. Okay, what else would I need? Let's see. Those are basically all classes. Let me go ahead and create a few objects now. So let me create an object for my skeleton NPC. I'll go with self.skeleton. I'll set that equal to skeleton object is going to be equal to my skeleton class. Okay. And then I'll need a self.dragon object. I'll set that equal to my dragon class. And then let me go ahead and add my drops now. So I'll go with self.coins. This is going to be my coins. I'll set that equal to. This time, instead of just going with my drops class, I'll go with a list of my drops class. Since I just don't want one drop to be spawned, I want multiple drops. I'll do the same thing for my meat. Before that, I will add my coin image here. There we go. Okay, so self.meats is going to be equal to a list of my drops class and meat image as the parameter. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a self.buff underscore pots class, also that equal to a list of my drops class. The image is going to be my buff pot image. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create an image for my object for my buff bar and my health bar. So I'll go with self.buff bar, also that equal to my buff bar class. There we go. Then I'll go with a self.health underscore bar, also that equal to my health bar class. Okay, those are basically all the objects that I can think of right now. So let me go ahead and create my game loop. This is going to be my main game loop. And for my game loop, I'll go ahead and create a is underscore running. So a is underscore running boolean variable, also that equal to true. And then add a while loop. So while is underscore running, while my program is running or while my is running is set to true, I will do something. Let's see. I will create FPS. Actually, before FPS, I will go with a screen.fill. So I'll go with screen.fill. I'll fill the color to be a good blue color. And since I don't remember the RGB code for the blue, I will go to my code here and just copy this RGB color. I can like go to Google and like find the RGB color, but I feel that would like take long. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create a keys variable. This is going to be for checking if my player moves. So I'll go with pygame.key.get_press. This checks if any of my keys are getting pressed, and in my player's move method I specified what to do if a certain key is pressed. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me honestly go ahead and add my event loop. Okay, for my event loop, I'm going to be iterating, means looping over all my Pygame events. So I'll use a for loop for every event in my pygame.event.get. This basically gets all my Pygame events, but I'm looking for a specific type of event. If my event.type equals to pygame dot all capitalized quit, all uppercase quit, I'll set my is_running boolean variable to be equal to false, which means my while loop is going to end and my game is going to close. Okay, perfect. I might add more event loops later for like if my event type is key down, and if my specific key is R, if my player hit the R key, I do something. That is going to be some future problem for me. That aside, what else would I need? I would have to find a collision detection for my player and my NPCs. So let me create that. Honestly, I actually might create my collision detection outside my game loop so it's more cleaner. Maybe I could create it inside. It's the same thing. Let me create it inside, I guess. I'll go with collision detection for hero and NPCs. There we go. This is going to be the collision detection for my hero and NPC to check if my hero and my NPC are colliding. So, what all would I need for collision detection? Since I am going to be using pixel perfect collision, I would need to create offsets. So let me go ahead and create an offset_x-axis variable. So that equal to my enemy's x-axis minus my hero's x-axis. How am I going to find my enemy's x-axis? Honestly, just for that, I might define a function. Let me define a collision_detector function because I have more than one NPCs and I don't want to create individual collision detection detectors for all my NPCs. So I will need a few parameters. For example, my hero parameter or my player parameter, who is my player, enemy parameter, who is my enemy. The next one is optional. Enemy_name parameter, what's my enemy's name? This is optional. And then I'll need a collision flag parameter. Collision flag basically means, did the collision happen? Is my collision flag set to true or false? If it's set to true, a collision did happen. If it's set to false, a collision didn't happen. Okay, and then now I go ahead and create offset. So I'll create offset_x-axis. My offset_x-axis is going to be equal to my enemy.rect, my enemy's rex x-axis minus my player.rect.x-axis, my player's x-axis. Let me create offset_y as well. My offset_y is going to be equal to my enemy.rect.y-axis minus my player.rect.y-axis. That's basically it for offsets, although I would need a overlap variable as well to check if a overlap actually did happen. So to create an overlap, I'll go with my player.mask.the_overlap function, my enemy.mask at the given offset of offset_x-axis and offset_y-axis. What this basically means is if my player's mask overlaps with my enemy's mask at the given offset of offset x and offset y, that is going to be considered a overlap. Let me add a if statement now. If a overlap did happen, if a overlap did happen, and if not, collision flag. And if my collision flag is set to true, which currently it is set to false, like right here, my skeleton collision and dragon collision is set to false, I'm going to be printing something. I'll print boom collided with add a pair of curly parentheses, maybe change this to an F string. I'll go with my enemy_name. This is why the enemy name was optional. If you guys don't want to add an F string to specify with which enemy did I overlap with, you guys wouldn't need the enemy parameter. Okay. Honestly, I actually might add a damage parameter as well, because if my player overlaps with someone, they will be taking damage. I'll leave the damage to be 20 by default. You guys can see it here. Okay, and then let's see. Now let me specify or like clarify what's happening. So if buff bar, actually I'll go with something like buff bar takes damage first. Okay, so with this condition, my buff bar is going to take damage first if my buff bar is active. Okay, let me add a if statement. If my game object dot my buff bar object inside of my game object dot activate dot active. Okay, if my buff bar is active, I'll go with my game object dot my buff bar object dot the take underscore damage method. My damage is going to be my damage parameter, which is set to 20 by default. Okay. And I'll add another if statement. If my game object dot my buff bar object dot current buff, if my buff bar's current HP is less than or equal to 0, I'll set my game object dot my buff bar object inside of my game object dot activate or active. I'll set that equal to false. Okay. And then let me go ahead and add a else clause outside of my indented if statements. Else my game object dot my health bar object dot take underscore damage. My health bar takes damage. The damage is going to be my damage parameter. Okay, perfect. And then what else would I need? I would need to add a condition. So if my game dot health bar dot current HP, if my health bar's current HP is less than or equal to 0, then I do something. I set my game underscore lost to be equal to 2. I lose my game if my health bar's current HP is less than or equal to 0. That's basically it. I can add a comment here that says health bar takes damage. There we go. Okay, so that's like pretty much it for my collision detection. Honestly, I might add my sound as well, so I'll go with my collision sound effect dot play. This is going to play my collision sound effect. Whenever I collide with my buff bar, it's going to play that sound effect. Now outside my if statement, if not collision, I will return true, a collision did happen, else I will return false, a collision didn't happen. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let me go ahead, indent that, go up. Okay, now let me use my collision detector function. So I'll go with my game object dot my skeleton collision. This is my collision flag. Also that equal to invoke my collision detector and fill in the parameters. What all parameters would I need? I'll need a player parameter, a enemy parameter, enemy name parameter, and collision flag parameter. Let's fill that. My player parameter is going to be my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object. My enemy parameter is going to be my game object dot my skeleton object inside of my game object. And then my collision flag is going to be, honestly, I have an enemy name. This is optional. Let me keep that to skeleton. And just so you guys can see, I'll zoom in a bit more. There we go. And lastly, my collision flag is going to be my game object dot my skeleton collision. Let me paste that. Okay, perfect. This is like way too big. I hope you guys can like see it. That aside, let me go ahead and add a collision detection. Let me use my collision detector function inside of my game dot dragon collision as well to check if my dragon has collided with somebody. Also that equal to invoke my collision detector function, fill in the parameters. So my game dot hero is going to be my player. My game object dot my dragon object inside of my game object is going to be my enemy. My enemy name is going to be dragon. Okay, and lastly, my collision flag is going to be my game dot dragon collision. Let me paste that here. Okay, perfect. That's basically it for my collision detection for player and NPC. Now let me go ahead and add a collision detection for my player and my coin in the screen. Let me add a comment. Although before that, I actually might add my win/lose logic. Okay, maybe it will look good without a space. Win/lose logic. Okay, so basically what a win/lose logic is let's see. If I win, my player is going to blit my windscreen UI. If I lose, my my display is going to show the lose screen UI. Okay, so I'll go with the if statement. If my score, or actually if my game.score, okay, I don't have a games instance variable here, so let me go ahead and add another section here. I'll go with a comment. I'll say score details. These are going to be the details if I like score. I'll go with self.score instance variable, also that equal to 0. My score is going to be 0 by default. I'll go ahead and create a self.score boolean instance variable, also that equal to false since my player hasn't scored yet. That's basically all for now. Okay, so if my game object.score is greater than or equal to 10, if my score is greater than or equal to 10, I'll do something. Let's see. I'll go with my game object.mygame_1, also that equal to true. Okay, now I'll add another if statement. If my game.game_1, if my game_1 is set to true, I'll do something. Let's see. Firstly, I'm gonna hydrate my lips up. It's real dry. Okay, so if my game.game_1 is set to true, I'll go with a screen.blit. I'll blit something on my screen. I'll blit my windscreen UI at the given depth of 0 and 0. And then I would wanna blit a text on my screen as well. So I'll go with my windscreen font dot the render function. I wanna render my, let's see, my actually I'll go with my win text. I'll create a new variable called win_text. Also that equal to my win text font dot the render function. I want to render a text. What text will I render? I'll render something like you win exclamation. Okay, maybe zoom out a little. Press R to play again, and then my italicus, if that's how you pronounce it, is going to be set to true. Lastly, my color is going to be something like black. Okay, let me just zoom out so you guys can see the whole thing. There we go. Okay, and then let me go ahead and blit my win text to the screen. So I'll go with screen.blit. I want to blit my win text. Okay, at the given depth of, I don't know, something like 250 by 40. Okay, and I will blit my win text sound as well. So let me go ahead and load that all the way up here. So under load sound effects, I'll go with win screen sfx. I'll set that equal to pygame.mixer.sound. My sound is going to be, my sound's file path will be game item followed by 2 forward slashes followed by sfx, 2 more forward slashes. My win sound effect, do I have like a win sound effect? What is it called? Game 1 sound effect. There we go. Okay, I'll add one for game lost as well. So I'll go with game underscore or lose screen sound effect. Lose underscore screen underscore sfx. Also that equal to pygame.mixer.capitalize sound. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by sfx, 2 more forward slashes. My game lost sound effect. There we go. Let me go ahead and set their volume as well. So I'll copy that, paste it here, dot set underscore volume. I'll set the volume to be 0.1, which is like 10%. Let me do the same thing with my lose screen sound effect. I'll paste it here, dot set underscore volume. My volume is going to be set to 0.1, which is 10%. Okay, that's honestly basically it. Now let me go all the way down here, and when my wind sound effect is being played, like my windscreen sound effect is being played, I just want my wind sound effects to be played, not the background sound effects. So I might actually create channels as well to have a exclusive channel for my windscreen sound effect. Let me go ahead and comment and say SFX channels. Okay, for my sound effects channels, I'll go ahead and add a pygame dot mixer dot set num channel, set num underscore channels. I would need around 3 channels. I can always change that number. Okay, pygame.mixer.set channels. Now let me go ahead and add my channels. So I'll go with pygame.capitalize channel. Okay, this is going to be channel 1. I will add a variable as well, so I'll go with let's see what variable. I'll go with win underscore screen underscore sfx or win screen channel. I'll set that equal to this. Then I'll go with a lose underscore screen underscore channel. I'll set that equal to pygame dot capitalize channel. This is going to be my channel number 2. And then I'll go ahead and add a, let's see. Honestly, these are the only channels I can think of right now. So let me go all the way down. And since Python starts counting from 0, I'll change that to 0, that to 1, and change that to 2. Okay, now I go all the way down around here. Okay, after I blip that on my screen, I'll go with the if statement. Let's see. If game underscore 1, if I won the game, I'll do something. Let's see, what am I gonna do? Oh, I forgot to read. I didn't read the text. Hey bro, I'm here too. How you doing, outsider? I appreciate you joining the stream. And guys, I feel this chat is like way too small. Gotta maybe increase the size. I literally had like my phone open here with the chats on. I still couldn't see it. Okay, that aside, let me go all the way up here. Genail. Guys, did I pronounce that correct? Okay, let's see. Let me go there. Alright. So let me say if my game.game underscore 1, if I have won a game indeed, I'll go with my, let's see, pygame.mixer.stop. This basically stops all the background noises. Maybe I'll add a comment that says stops all background noises. Might go with sounds. That would sound much better. Sounds. Stops all background sounds. Okay, and then I'll play my Pygame. Actually, not Pygame. I'll go with my game 1 channel. So game underscore. What was the name of my variable? Windscreen channel. Okay, windscreen channel dot the play function. I want to play. Let's see. My windscreen sound effects. Okay, perfect. Now let me do the same thing for my loose screen as well. Let me go with elsif game underscore lost. If I lost a game, I'll blip my loose screen as loose screen UI. Excuse me, guys, at the given depth of 0 and 0. Okay, did I add an extra pair of parentheses here? If game underscore lost. Oh wait, never mind, my bad, guys. I'll go with screen.blit. I want to blit something on my screen. What do I want to blit? I want to blit my loose screen UI at the given depth of 0 and 0. Okay, and then I would need a loose screen text as well, like a text on my screen if I lost. So I'll go with, let's see, lose underscore text. I'll set that equal to pygame dot loose text is going to be equal to my loose text font dot the render function. I want to render, let's see, let me render a text. The text is going to be something like you lost exclamation. Press R to play to restart. Okay, and then my entalysis, if that's how we pronounce it, let me just go low here, zoom in. My entalysis is going to be set to true and my color is going to be black. Okay, zoom out a bit. Alright, perfect. And then let me go ahead and add a if statement. Before I add a if statement, let me blit my loose text on my screen. So I'll go with screen.blit. I want to blit my loose text. There we go, at the given depth of 0 and 0. Now let me add a if statement. So if my let's see, if my game underscore lost, if I did lose a game, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with pygame.mixer.stop. This is going to stop all the background noises. I'll add a comment that says stops all background noises. So if I lose or sounds. Okay, stops all background sounds, and then let me go ahead and add my loose screen channel dot the play function. I want to play my loose screen sound effects. There we go. Okay, that's basically it for my game win and game lost logic. Lastly, let me add a else clause here, and under my else clause, maybe I add a space here just so it looks good. Okay, I will run my regular game loop, so I'll go with regular game loop. There we go. Okay, so this is my regular game loop. For my regular game loop, what all would I need? Firstly, I would need a collision detection for my player and my whatchamacallit. That faster now. Okay, I'll need a collision detection for my player and my coins. So I'll go with collision detection for player and actually I might go with I might uppercase that and coins. Okay, perfect. Instead of pass here right now, I'm gonna go ahead and create. Actually, before I create offsets, since my whatchamacallit coins object is in a list, I'm going to be iterating over it. So I'll go with for every coin in my game object. Let me zoom in a little. Dot my coins object inside of my game object at index of colon. The reason I added at index of colon is because every time my player collides with my coin, I want to remove that coin, and at index of colon duplicates everything inside of my list, so it's a more safer way to remove something. Okay, so for every coin in my game.coins, I'll create offsets. So offset underscore x-axis. Why am I creating offsets? Since I am going to be using pixel perfect collision, they do require pixel perfect collision does require having offsets, so that's where offsets come in use. Okay, so offset underscore x-axis is going to be equal to my coin dot rect dot x-axis, my coins x-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect, my hero's rex x-axis. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create an offset underscore y-axis. My offset underscore y-axis is going to be equal to my coin object dot rect dot y-axis, my coins y-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot y-axis. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create an overlap variable to check if a overlap did happen. Let me go ahead and add a condition. So my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot mask, my hero's mask dot the overlap function, my coin object dot rect dot mask, my bad guys, at the given offset of offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis. So basically what this means is if my hero's mask overlaps with my coin's mask at this given offset, which is offset x and offset y, it's considered an overlap. Let me add a if statement. If a overlap did happen, if something like a overlap is considered, I'm going to be doing something. Let's see, what am I going to do? I'll go with my game object dot my score inside of my game object. I'll increase that by 1, so every time my player collides with my coin, my score increases by 1, and then I'll go with game dot scored, also that equal to true. My score boolean variable, which was initially set to false because my player hasn't scored, is going to be set to true right now because the overlap did happen. And then I'll go with game dot my coins is list dot the remove function. I want to remove my coin. Once I collide with it, the coin is removed. Let me go with an else game dot scored is going to be equal to false. If a overlap didn't happen, my scored is going to be equal to false. That means I didn't score. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is basically it for my collision detection for my coin and my player. Now let me go ahead and add a logic where my coin actually spawns on my screen. Let me add a spawn logic for hero and coin. Spawn logic for coins. My bad, guys. Okay, so what all would I need for my spawn logic for coins? Let's think. I would need to add a few drop details. So under my game class, I'll go with a drop detail. Why am I adding drop details? Because I want to know the exact drop time for my coin, like when my time dropped, because I want my coins to drop every 4 seconds. So let me go ahead and add a comment that says drop details. For my drop details, let me go ahead and create a game dot, actually not game dot, a self dot coin underscore drop underscore time, also that equal to my time module dot my time function. Okay, this basically gives me the exact time my coin dropped on the screen. I would want to add a drop delay as well, so I'll go with self dot coin drop delay. Okay, also that equal to 4 seconds because I want the coin to spawn once every 4 seconds after it's been claimed. Okay. Now let me go here and add a if statement. So if my time module dot my time function, if my times current time, or whenever my Python's current time minus my, excuse me guys, minus my game object dot my coin drop time, if my Python's current time minus my coins drop time is greater than my game object dot my coin drop delay is greater than 4 seconds, I spawn a coin on the screen. So I'll go with game dot coins list dot append. I'll append my drops class. The image is gonna be my coin underscore image. There we go. And then I'll reset my, or reassign my game dot coin drop time. Let me just copy that, paste it here to be equal to my time module dot my time function. Okay, that's basically it for my coin spawn logic. So my coins are going to be spawning right now. Next up, let me go ahead and add a collision detection for my, meets and everything. Although before that, I do want to check if this works. So let me add a comment for my game objects details. Game object details. Okay, for my game object details, I'm going to go with my game object dot my hero object dot the move method. So now my player can move with the parameter of keys that I created up there. And then a game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot the apply gravity method. This applies gravity to my player. That was basically all the details that my player needed. Now let me go ahead and add details for my my skeleton. So I'll go with game dot skeleton object dot automate, that automates my skeleton. A game dot dragon object dot automate, that automates my dragon object. Next up, let me add a comment for graphics. Okay, this is where I'm going to be drawing my players. So I'll go with my game object dot my hero object dot draw. I draw my hero object. I'll go with game object dot skeleton object dot draw. I draw my skeleton object. Let me go with my game object dot my dragon object dot draw. I draw my dragon object. Next up, let me go ahead and draw my coins on the screen. Since my coins is a list, since my coins object is a list, I'll go with for every coin in my game object dot my coins object that iterates over my coins object, I'll go with my coin dot draw. This draws every individual coin that spawns on the screen. Okay. Next up, let me go ahead and draw my health bar and my buff bar. So I'll go with game dot health bar dot draw. With this, I draw a health bar on the screen. And now for my buff bar, let me go with the if statement. If my game dot buff bar dot activate, only if my buff bar's activate is set to true, I'll go with game dot buff bar game dot buff bar dot draw. Only if my buff bar is activated, I'm going to be drawing my buff bar. Okay, that's basically it for my drawings, right? Actually, I do need to draw my floor as well. So I'll go with pygame dot draw dot rect because my floor is going to be a rectangle. The x-axis of my floor is going to be set to 0. The y-axis is going to be something like 500. Okay, the surface of my floor is going to be my screen. The color, I forgot the RGB color. The parameter is going to be my floor parameters. My floor objects is parameter. Let me just copy the RGB code for my, or the RGB code color for my, floor, because I don't want to go to Google and go to the RGB Pickers website and get the color. There we go. Okay, perfect. That basically draws my floor. Let me go ahead and add FPS. So I'll go with my clock variable that I previously created under my game variables section dot the tick function. my FPS is going to be my FPS variable, which is set to 60. So I'm going to be having 60 frames per second. And then let me go ahead and add a pygame.quit. This exits pygame, although to exit Python, I'll go with sys.exit. This exits my entire Python system. Okay, that's basically it. That's basically that does that. Okay, if I run the command, okay, I forgot to go with a display.flip. My bad, guys. No wonder nothing was showing. Let me go ahead and do a pygame.display.flip. This basically updates my display. Although pygame.display.update would work exactly the same, flip is just smaller to type. There we go. Okay, a coin just spawned under me. Okay, why does it say oh wait, how much score do I have? How much score did I set up here for my win? If it's greater than or equal to 10, there we go. Okay, so there are my NPCs. If I hit my NPC, I do my collision sound. Okay, if I lose, I gotta change my skeleton's position. He's too high. You lost, press R to reset. Let me just fix my location here as well. I want to split this to be around, let's see. Let's say 250 by 40. There, now if I run the command. There we go, now that looks much better. Okay, let me just go under my skeleton class. I'll just change his position from 300 to be 405. So he's going to be right under the floor. There we go. It's much better. Okay, I do want my player to like be under the floor as well because he's kind of up. Okay, so to change that, I'll go under my hero class. In my landing, I'll just increase that by 20. Guys, you guys can like play around with this number 20. I'll just increase it by 20. There we go. Okay, perfect. By the way, guys, I am the voice actor of that side. Okay, that is pretty good. Honestly, I might add a trap method for my player as well because I don't want my player to like exit the window. Like right now, if my player can exit the window and that's not something that I want, like you can just exit off the window. I don't want that. So let me go here and add a trap player in window as well. I'll add that with my apply gravity. Honestly, after my move method, I will trap my player here. So I'll add a comment that says trap player in window. This is going to trap my player in window. To trap my player in window, I'll go with self.rect.x-axis. I'll set that equal to max. Max is going to be 0. And min is going to be, let's see, the reason my max was 0 is because my player can't go like beyond 0, beyond the left side of the wall. Now for my right side, I'm going to go with my self.rect.x-axis, my player's current x-axis, 1000, my displays, my window size, minus self.rect.width, my player's width. There we go. Okay, and this isn't going to be a function. I don't need a pair of parentheses here. There we go. That basically limits my player from exiting the screen to the left and to the right. Let's see. There we go. My player can exit to the left or right, although there is some extra space kept here, like here. I can go like beyond this location as well, like right there. Let me add a few changes. So instead of going with 0, I'll change that to be negative 50. Now I will be able to go more to the left. Okay. Maybe I'll change that to negative 40. Because I want my health bar to be seen as well. Okay, I guess negative 35 would be perfect. Okay, now if I run the command. There we go, that's perfect. Now for the right side, let me do the same thing as well. Instead of keeping this 1000, I'll go with 1000, I don't know, 1080. Okay, let's see. That lets me go 80 pixels more to the left. There we go, that's actually perfect. Okay, now let me focus on the y-axis. So let me go with self.rect.y-axis. Also, that equal to max, which is going to be something like 0. Min is going to be my self.rect.y-axis, comma. Let's go with 650. My Windows vertical window size, my Windows height minus my self.rect.height, my player's height. Okay, and instead of 0, I will change this to something like negative 50. So now my player can go higher. Okay, that's way too high. I'll change it to be something like negative 40. Maybe negative 30. I think negative 30 should do the trick. Okay, negative 20. Guys, this is just to play around with. This is just for visuals. There, that's perfect. Okay. Okay, what else would I need to add? Let me go ahead and add my random meat spawns on the screen. But before that, let me go ahead and add my score to the screen. So I'll create a score underscore text variable. So that equal to my score text font dot the render function. I'll render a text. My text is going to be a f string. I'll go with score colon a pair of parentheses my game object dot my score inside of my game object, and the italicized, if that's how you pronounce it, is going to be set to true. Lastly, the color is going to be black. Okay, perfect. Now if I run the command, oh, I forgot to blur it on the screen, my bad guys. Let me blur it on the screen real quick. Let me go with screen.blit. I want to blit my score text at the given dest of 10 and 10. So it's going to be a bit more to the top right. Actually, top left. There we go. If I collect a coin, it changes to 1. And if I get 10 coins, I am going to win the game. Okay, now let me go ahead and add a few meats to the game as well. So I'll add a collision detection for... Let me go with collision detection for meal and hero. Okay, let me fix my typo. Okay, for collision detection for my meal and hero, since my meal is a list, I will be iterating over my meal. So I'll go with for every meal in my game object dot my meals object add index. Is that meals object correct? Okay, dot my meats object at index of colon. The reason I added at index of colon is because at index of colon duplicates everything inside of my list. And the reason I want to duplicate stuff inside of my list is because it makes it safer to like remove stuff from my list, because I am going to be removing the meat once my player collides with it. So let me go ahead and create offsets. Why am I creating offsets? The reason I'm creating offsets is because offsets is necessary for pixel perfect collision. So let me go ahead and create offset. So I'll go with meal.rect.x-axis minus my game object.my hero object inside of my game object.rect.x-axis. Then I'll go with offset underscore y-axis. I'll set that equal to my meals object.rect.y-axis minus my game object.my hero object inside of my game object.rect.y-axis. Okay, and then I create overlaps. So basically, overlap is when my player overlaps with my meets image. That's going to be considered an overlap. So I'll go with my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot mask my hero's mask dot the overlap function if my hero overlaps with my meet dot mask with my meets mask at the given offset of offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis. That is going to be considered a overlap, and I will change that to meal. There we go. Okay, now let me add a if statements. If a overlap did happen, I'll do a bunch of things. Let me go with my let's see, my game object dot my health bar object dot the heal method. I'll heal my hero's HP or my health bar's HP by 20. Okay, and then I'll go with my game object dot my meats object dot the remove function. I want to remove my meal. Okay, perfect. Honestly, that's pretty much it for collision detection for meal and hero, although I would have to spawn the meats as well in my screen. So let me go ahead and do that. To spawn my meals, I'll go with a comment that says spawn meals Spawn logic for meal sounds much better. Okay, for my spawn logic, since I am going to spawn my meals randomly across the screen, I would want to know the exact drop time my meals spawned. I mean, since I want to like spawn my meat after a certain amount of time, I'll need to know when it's dropped. So let me go with self.meat.drop underscore time. Let me change that to an underscore as well. So self.meatDropTime will set that equal to time module.the time function. Basically, what the time module's time function does is it gives me the exact time my meal spawned on the screen, and then I'll add a self.meat underscore drop underscore delay. I'll set that equal to 14 seconds. A meat is going to drop in the screen once every 14 seconds. Let me go all the way down now, right here. I'll add a if statement. If my time module dot my time function, if my Python's current time minus my game object dot my meat drop time is if my time module minus my meat drop time, which is set to time.time. So when my meat drops, that's considered my meat drop time. So if my meat dropped at 5 seconds or like at this much time, and that time is apparently greater than my game.meat drop delay. If my meat has dropped and that time is more than my meat drop delay, which is 14 seconds, I am going to be spawning another meat on the screen. So I'll go with my game object dot my meats object dot append. I'll append my drops class and my drops class, and the image is going to be my meat underscore image. There we go. That's basically the meat spawn logic. Lastly, I'll reassign my game.meatDropTime to be equal to my time module.myTime function. Okay, now let me go ahead and draw my meat on the screen. So I'll go with for every meat in my game object.my meats object, I'll go with meat.draw. Okay, perfect. Now if I were to run the command, okay, meat just spawned up there. Let me go ahead and claim it. I heal HP every time I collect the meat. Okay, I should honestly like draw more PNGs and everything and make more sound effects. Like add a level 2 to the game where I have like a whole dragon and maybe damage system as well. I don't know. Okay, letting meat spawn again. I mean, let me actually check if the win logic works. Need 4 more coins. Before that, I do need a meat to spawn. Like, there we go. Okay. I need another coin. There we go, I win. Okay, perfect. So the meat logic works. Let me go ahead and add a buff bar logic as well. Am I audible? Okay, let me go ahead and add a buff bar logic, a buff bar collision logic, a buff potion collision logic, and a buff potion spawn logic as well, because I will be adding buff potions because I want my player to get a buff as well in the game. So let me go ahead and add a comment that says collision logic or collision detection for buff, excuse me guys, potion for buff potion and hero. Okay, so for my collision logic, since my buff potion is a list as well inside of my game object, I'll iterate over it. For every buff underscore pot in my game object dot my buff pots object inside of my game objects at index of colon, and the reason I am adding at index of colon is because at index of colon duplicates everything inside of my list. The reason I want to duplicate everything inside of my list is because I'm going to be removing the stuff from my list, and having it duplicate makes it more safe to remove stuff. Okay, I iterated over my game.buff pots. Now let me go ahead and create offsets. The reason I am creating offsets is because we need offsets for pixel perfect collision. Okay, offset x is going to be equal to my buff underscore pot dot rect dot x-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot x-axis. I'll do the same thing for my offset y. Offset underscore y-axis is going to be equal to my buff underscore pot dot y-axis, my buff pot rex y-axis minus my game object dot my hero object dot my hero's rex's y-axis. Okay, that's basically it for my offset y. Let me go ahead and create an overlap variable as well to check if a overlap did happen. I'll set that equal to my game object dot my hero object dot my hero's mask. So if my hero's mask dot overlap, if my hero's mask overlaps with my let's see, my buffpot's mask, buffpot dot mask at the given offset, which is going to be in a tuple of my offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis. There we go, if you guys couldn't see it. That's going to be considered a overlap. Let me just delete that. Go to a new line, zoom in. Now let me go ahead and add a if statement. If a overlap did happen, if overlap, there we go. If a overlap did happen, I'm going to be doing a few things. This time, let me go with my game object dot my buff bar object, buff underscore bar object dot activate buff. I'm going to be activating my buff, and how much buff do I want to activate? I want to activate 100 buff. My player gets 100 buff. Okay. Then let me go ahead and add a game dot let's go with buff pots dot remove. I want to remove my buff pot. Okay, perfect. That's honestly basically it for my collision detection for buff pot and hero. Let me go ahead and add a spawn logic for my buff pots now. So I'll go ahead and add a spawn logic for buff pots. There we go. I think it would look better if this was like all uppercase buff potions. Okay, for my spawn logic, inside of my game class, let me go ahead and let's see. Under my drop time delay, I'll go with a self dot buff underscore potion underscore drop underscore time. Also that equal to my time module dot the time function. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a self dot buff pot drop delay. And instead of keeping this potion, I'll change that to pot so it's like shorter. Okay, so buff pot drop delay is going to be equal to 20 seconds. A buff potion will spawn in the screen once every 20 seconds. Okay, now let's go ahead and use that inside of my spawn logic for buff potion. I'll go with an if statement, if time.time, if Python's current time minus my game object dot my buff pot drop time, if my Python's current time minus when my buff potion drops time is greater than my game object dot my buff pot drop delay. Okay, if you guys couldn't see, there we go. Okay, I'll set my, let's see, I'm gonna append another buff potion on the screen. So I'll go with game object dot my buff pots dot append. I'll append my drops class, and the image is gonna be my buff pot image. There we go. And then I will reassign my game.buffpot drop time to be equal to my time module.my time function. Okay, now let me go ahead and draw my buff potion. And since I am going to be adding an if statement for my... Actually, never mind. Let me just draw my buff pot. For every buff underscore pot in my game.buffpots, okay, I'll go with buff underscore pots dot draw. Okay, now if I run the command, there we go. I guess a buff pot just spawned under me, so let me just restart the game. There we go. So a buff pot is set up. My player takes damage right now. I heal from there. Wait, did I like take damage twice? Hold on, why did I take damage twice? Buff pot dot draw. There. Now if I run the command. Okay, I took damage once. What happens if I jump? Do I take damage twice? I just take it once. Okay, I think that was just because of my typo. Now my buff bar takes damage. That's perfect. My buff bar disappears after 5 seconds. It's been 5 seconds. Why did it disappear? Okay, I think that goes all the way. I gotta fix that logic right under my collision detection. Oh, because I forgot to add a, a update method in my buff bar. So before my draw and after my take damage, let me go ahead and define a update method. I forgot to update so my game wouldn't know when 5 seconds has passed. Let me go with a update method. for my update method, I won't have any parameters in here, but I will have a, let's see, a if statement. Okay, if self.activate, if my buff is currently activated, and in a tuple, I'll go with time module dot my time function minus my self dot buff path time, which is set to the time dot time when my buff bar was activated, is greater than 5 seconds. Okay, I'll set my self dot activate to be equal to false. My buff bar's activate method is going to be set to false. Okay, now let me update my buff pot here. So I'll go with buff pot dot update. Okay. Okay, that goes right under here. So I'll go with my game.buffbar.update. I update my buff bar. Alright, perfect. Now let me go ahead and pick a buff potion. It takes damage. After 5 seconds, it is going to disappear. There we go, it disappears. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and add a few sound effects as well. So after my collision with meal, I'll go with eating meat sound effect dot play. If I run the command, I'm gonna hear the sound effect once I eat a meat. There we go. Let me add one for my collecting coins as well. Do I have a collecting coin sound effect? I don't. Let me go ahead and load my sound effect for collecting coins. Let me go all the way up here. Under my set sound effects volume, or like load sound effects, I'll go with collecting coins SFX. I'll set that equal to pygame.mixer.capitalized sound. The file path is going to be game item followed by 2 forward slashes followed by SFX, 2 more forward slashes, collecting coin sound effect, and I will set a volume, so I'll copy that, paste it here, .set underscore volume. My volume will be set to 0.1, which is 10%. Okay, I have one for drinking, I have one for okay, I have one for everything. So let me go all the way right here. I'll go with collecting coin sound effect the play function. Okay, now if I collect a coin,
Cha-ching. Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
okay, it does say cha-ching, but then there's like a huge delay. Oh wait, because this isn't the spawn logic. Never mind, I got that in the wrong spot. Let me paste it here. Okay, now if I collect a coin,
Cha-ching.
there we go. It still has like some delay. I gotta like fix that with my actual sound effect because I recorded it a little wrong. Okay, let me add a sound effect for my drinking potion as well. I think my drinking potion sound effect by far was like the the cheesiest one. I mean, actually not cheesiest, the most cringiest one. There we go. The play function. If I would run the command, yeah guys, I did create that sound effect, by the way. Okay, that's honestly perfect. Let me go ahead and load my skeleton sound effect as well, so my skeleton makes a sound as well. Let me go with skeleton sound effect here. Skeleton SFX equals to pygame.mixer.capitalized sound. My sound type or my file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by SFX, 2 more forward slashes, my skeleton voice, and I will set the volume as well. The volume is going to be set underscore volume. My volume will be 0.1, which is 10%. Let me go all the way down. String sound.play, where's my skeleton? Okay, so under my overlap, I want my skeleton sound to play every time I overlap with my skeleton. So let me go with if game.skeleton collision, if my skeleton collision is set to true, I'll paste my skeleton sound effect.dplay function. If I were to run the command, no sound is playing, my skeleton sound doesn't play. If I collide, it plays. And unfortunately, guys, I don't have a sound effect for my dragon. I didn't have enough time to record that. But that aside, if I win the game, let me go ahead and load my windscreen sound effect. Wait, do they play? If game.game_1, pygame.mixer, let me run the command. Let me try losing. Okay, no sound plays. What happens if I remove that? Okay, let me change that to be 1 for now. Let me collect a coin. Okay, play on my exclusive channel. If game.game_1. Okay, what happens if I just go with the Control-0 quick? What happens if I just remove that? Go with a Shift tab. Okay, now if I win the game, wait, hold up, let me just change that to 1. Okay, now if I run the command. Okay, it doesn't play the sound. Let me go with the Control-Z. Okay, go all the way up. Did I add a volume for my sound? Note sound effects. Okay, lose sound effect. Okay. Let me scroll all the way up here. Okay, honestly, I might check the reference for this part. Okay, let me go to my win/lose. Oh, if not, okay. If not game.game_1. Okay, so if my game.game_ sound is set to true, if I won the game, okay, pygame.mixer.stop, I stop all sounds. Oh, I see. Okay. Alright, so in my win logic, I go with if not game.game_1. Okay, pygame.mixer.stop. I go with game.game_1. I set that. Actually, game1 sound. Okay, I gotta go ahead and add a few sounds as well. So sounds. Alright, let me go with game sounds. Game sounds. Okay, for my game sounds, I'll go with self.game_1_sound. Also, that equal to false because my game_1 sound hasn't played yet. A self.game_, excuse me guys, lost_sound. Also, that equal to false as well because I haven't lost a game yet. Okay, I'll honestly even add a self.mission_sound. I won't need the mission sound just yet. I'll just add this for the time being. I'll explain to you guys in a bit why I need that. Okay, that aside. Okay, if not game.game_1_sound, game.game_sound is going to be set to true. Okay, let me change that to 1 for the time being. Now if I collect a coin.
Wave completed. Sit back and wait for further instructions, warrior.
Alright, perfect, that works. Let me just change that to 10 and do the same thing for game lost. _sound. If my game_sound is set to true, if not game.game_sound, I stop all background noises. Do that and then go with game.game_lost_sound. So that equal to true. Okay, perfect. That's basically it for my sounds and all that. Let me go ahead and load a mission sound that says mission 1, collect 10 gold coins, type stuff. Let me go with mission_1_sound. Also, that equals to pygame.mixer.sound. I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by sfx, 2 more forward slashes, my game 1 sound. Actually not game 1 sound, my mission 1 sound. And I will set a volume as well. Let me copy that. Paste it here, .set underscore volume, which is going to be set to 0.1. Okay, and then I might actually add a specific channel for it. So I'll go ahead and add a mission underscore 1 underscore sound, mission 1 channel. I'll set that equal to pygame dot capitalized channel. This is going to be my channel number 2. Now let me go all the way down here. Under my game loop, under my is underscore running, I'll create a mission underscore active boolean variable. I'll set that equal to false because my mission hasn't been activated yet. Okay, and now let me go ahead and add a if statement after my collision flag right here. Okay, because my win/lose logic goes inside of my mission 1 logic, I'll go with a if statement. Okay, I'll go with something like if not mission 1 active, if my mission 1 active is set to true, I'll go with let's see, mission 1 sound actually, if not mission 1 active, and not mission 1 sound if both of them are set to true. Actually, if my mission 1 is set to false, because my mission, okay, if my mission hasn't started yet and my mission 1 sound is set to true, I'll go with pygame.mixer.stop. This is gonna stop all my background noises, stops all background, am I audible? Okay, background noises or background sounds, it's honestly the same thing. Okay, stops all background sounds. I'll go with my mission 1 sound channel dot play. I'll play my mission 1 sound. Okay, mission 1 sound effect. This is going to be mission 1 sound effect. Okay, didn't I go with sound effect when I loaded my SFX? Mission 1 SFX. This is going to be SFX as well. Okay, there we go. Now if I go all the way down and not game dot mission 1 sound. Okay, I'll go with mission 1 sound effect dot play. Alright, perfect. That's like basically it. What happens if I run the command? Okay, line 67, index error. Okay, let's check line 67. Right here. Okay, this is going to be my channel number 2. Pygame.channel. Okay, what happens if I remove the channel? It won't play in its exclusive channel though. I'll just go with mission 1 sound effect.play. Huh. Okay, maybe I remove that. Okay, honestly, might check the reference code for this part. Although I am pretty, whatchamacallit. Okay, let's see. Let me go with a bunch of control Z's real quick. Okay, maybe add that. Okay, might check the reference code for this part, guys. This is a little new part to me. Okay, so mission 1 active, I go with outside my event loops for loop. If not game dot mission 1 sound, my mission 1 sound hasn't been played yet. Stop all background noises, do that. That part was correct. If game dot mission 1, okay, and not mission 1 sound channel dot get busy. Oh, I forgot this part. Mission 1 active equals true. Okay, I see. So let's do that. Let me go with if not mission 1 active, mission game dot mission 1 sound. If not game dot mission 1 sound. If my mission 1 sound is set to true, I stop all background noises and I play my mission 1 sound. Game dot mission 1 sounds equals to true. If I run the command, invalid. Okay, let me go ahead and add another if statement. This goes outside my for loop. Okay, that is outside my for loop. Honestly, I actually might add this before my collision detection or collision detector right here. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and another if statement. So if my okay, what all variables do I have here? I have a mission 1 active after my mission 1 sound is played. So if not game dot mission 1 sound and not game dot mission 1 sound dot get mission 1 channel, not game. My mission 1 sound channel, mission 1 channel dot get underscore busy. Basically, the get underscore busy returns true if a sound is playing and it returns false if a sound isn't playing. This specifically asks for if my sound isn't playing and if my mission 1 sound is set to true and my mission 1 sound channel is is playing. If both of them are playing, I'll go with mission active equals true. Actually, both of them are not playing. Okay, and why did I miss? Mission, this is going to be a wrong name now because I gotta change my channel's name from here as well. There we go. Okay, let me go all the way up here. This is going to be mission. Okay, perfect. Mission 1 active equals true if I were to run the command. Actually, I might go with an else as well. Else, let me indent everything inside of my this else block. Okay, everything including my graphics right there. Tab. Okay, perfect. Now if I were to run the command, indentation and expected indentation block after line 269. Didn't I indent this? Oh, no mind, I gotta indent this again. Wait, didn't my indentation work that time? Pretty sure I indented like everything. Okay, there we go. This is going to be my regular game loop. Index error invalid channel, line 67. Why does it say invalid channel? Line 67 is right here. Okay, mission 1 channel, that's channel number 2. What if I go here and create the max channel is going to be 3?
Mission, collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, that part does work. Wait, what happens after that part?
Mission, collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, nothing happens. Okay, I see. Let me go all the way down. Okay, let me just check the reference code. If not, mission active, I rendered that, else I rendered my regular game loop. Okay. I mean, I didn't know that. Okay, let's add that. If not, game dot mission 1. If not mission 1 active, my mission 1 is not active because once it's set true, if that made any sense. Okay, I'm still kind of figuring this out. If not mission active, okay, I go with screen dot blitz. I'll blitz my screen with a good blue color. Okay, this is going to be in a tuple. There we go. Okay, now if I run the command. Isn't that in a tuple? Surface got tuple instead of integer. Line 270. Isn't this like a tuple? Okay, let's go with again. Let's try that again. Screen dot blitz. I want to screen dot film. My bad, guys. Okay, I am a little exhausted, guys. That aside.
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, why does it show like a 9 here? Okay. If that, I do this. Else, everything's indented in here. Okay, honestly, I think because my collision detection is like inside my loop here. Let me get that outside. Control C, delete everything there. Actually, never mind, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. If not mission active, else my regular game loop. Okay, if mission 1 sound. If not mission 1 sound, if game.mission1.sound. Oh, what happens if I go with game.mission1.sound?
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Oh, that was the error. Although, why does the screen like flicker? Okay, if not mission active and tells you. Okay, I don't want to like let this thing in my screen though. I don't want to add a font. Let me actually add a font. Okay, guys, I'm just copying this to like save time. I could like type this on myself, but let me just paste that. Now from the command.
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, what's that 9 for? Let me go with the control A, delete. Oh my, okay, wait, let me go with the control Z real quick. Deleted everything by mistake. Okay, now from the command.
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, it says collect 10 gold coins. What is that flicker for? What happens with my this screen dot fill? Okay, so I have a screen dot fill here under my event loop. If not, game.game1 sound. Okay. Mission active set to true. Else regular loop. Huh. Mission 1 channel dot get busy. Okay. If not mission active, Okay, screen dot let mission 1 font. Okay, mission 1 text. Instead, I could go with a screen dot blit. I want to blit my mission 1 text on the screen at the given index of 0, 0. Actually, at the given dest of, I forgot what dest, 150 by 40. Let's see if that works.
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, why does it flicker? Do I have like multiple screen dot fills? I'm pretty sure I don't. That's the only screen dot fill that I have. Okay. Pygame.display.flip. Sys.exit. That's inside the loop. Okay, let me try reading this part again carefully and checking where I like messed up. If not, game.mission1 sound. My mission1 sound is currently being played. If that is set to true, I go with I stop all background noises, run the SFX. That part is correct. Excuse me, guys. If game.mission1 sound and not mission1 underscore channel dot get busy. Okay. What if I go with if mission active?
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Huh. Okay, that is like pretty strange. Okay, let's see. I did add a else. Okay, if I have a else, what happens if I like copy this exact same part? Okay, I mean, I didn't need to like copy this if event.type, but then I was eventually planning to type that out. I'm a little lazy, guys. Okay, I just want to check if this part works though. There. I just gotta change the variable names. Okay, actually, I just gotta like de-indent this part. Maybe right there. Go with Shift Tab. Okay, game.reset. Pygame.type equals to key down. If key.type pygame.da. Okay. Game.reset. Okay, let me go ahead and define a reset method here. So I'll define a reset method, and I'll just reset self.dunderInit. There we go. Okay, mission 1 sound channel. Let me change the name to mission 1 channel. This is going to be mission 1 sound effect. That's going to be mission 1 channel. If I run the command, attributor game object has no mission 1 sound. Did you mean mission sound? I didn't mean that. Okay, where's that at? What line was the error at? Line 268. Mission 1 sound. What was it called? Mission sound. Okay. Let me remove that part. Now if I run the command.
Mission collected.
Okay, why does it flicker? Okay, let's think. What could I be doing wrong that's making this flicker? If not mission active. Okay, if it flickers, the one that I wrote was correct as well. So let me just go with like a bunch of control Z's. Although before I go with a bunch of control Z's, I will copy this part because I do need this part. Now I'll go with a bunch of control Z's. There. And I might just paste this here. Okay, I'll define a reset method again. Define reset. Okay, I'll go with a self.dunderInit. Okay, now, what could I be missing? While true, I do that. Event loop. Okay, stops all background noises and plays my mission 1 sound effects. Okay, might be somewhere here under my else. That's where I play that. My win/lose logic. Inside my win/lose logic, I have a else. There we go. That's indented inside my else. Although, was the main idea to have the game loop running there? I don't think so. Okay, my game loop could be here. This is my regular game loop. Although my collision detector doesn't come under my regular game loop. This part, game loop. It's all under my game loop.
Mission collect 10 gold coins.
Okay. The reason it could be flickering is either because, let's see, screen.fill. What if I like remove my screen.fill? Hold up. Okay, what other parameters did I have here? Skeleton sound played. Mission running is false. Filled my screen. For every event, mission active equals to false. Hold up. Mission active is equal to false. If not, game.mission1 sound. Okay, let's see. Let me change that to 250 by 300. This is just for visuals, guys. Okay, I honestly might have Sensei.
Mission. Collect and go.
What could I be doing wrong here? Do I have another screen dot blit that's flickering this whole thing? Let me try changing this screen dot blit to like something like gray color. Let's change that to something like, I don't know, delete 200 by 200 by 200, a good gray color.
Mission. Collect and go coins.
Okay, that is a good gray color type stuff. Why does it flicker though? Okay, I guess I go with the Control C, get Sensei here. Oh, I actually didn't use Sensei slash Chat GPT the whole stream actually. Okay, let me actually go here, paste this, add a bunch of spaces and say Sensei, why does my screen flicker? Okay, let's see. Good, you bought me the full beast code. Now I can exactly see why your screen flickers. The flicker happens because of this section inside of your event loop. If not mission active. Okay, here's the issue. You're calling screen.fill before. Okay. Result every frame the window clears. Blue screen, the fix. If not mission active. My graphics go before my, or even cleaner, always draw the whole world every frame. If mission hasn't been active yet, just draw mission 1. I think I see. I actually think I see. So, let me get my graphics section from here. Just these graphics. I go up. I mean, honestly, I don't think that's the case though. Okay, if not mission active, if my mission active is set to true, I draw my players and then I fill my screen. I mean, I do not think this is the case. I think Sensei is kind of wrong here. Let's see.
Mission.
Hold up.
Collect and go coins.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Since I don't have a screen.fill here, it's going to leave a trail there. Okay, let me go with a bunch of control C's. Okay, let me go with this code, do a control C, get Sensei here. Paste, add a bunch of space and say, Sensei, the method you suggested was wrong. This is the perfect working reference code. It works here. What's the difference between this code and the previous code? Question mark. Let's see. Guys, it's almost dark actually. Thinking longer for a better answer. And guess what? Since I think I drink some water. Okay, let me check if my stream's going good. Okay, Twitch stream's going good. Let me check on Kick. Kick stream's going good. Okay, nice. Behave. The big difference, collision handling with persistent flag. Earlier you were applying. Okay. If not overlap. Okay. Honestly, guys, I feel I might check this off stream because I actually gotta go real soon because I do have some college stuff as well. I did want to figure out what happened this stream, but I might actually figure it out off stream if I have any time because I do have college tomorrow.
Mission.
I mean, that aside,
and go coins.
okay, this code, it works perfectly. I might check the difference between the two codes off stream. But I honestly do gotta go like right now because I gotta sleep and wake up early tomorrow. That aside, let me actually go to my main screen. Alright guys, honestly, that was pretty much it. I actually wanted to do way more, but I gotta sleep, and then I even gotta like do some of my homework, do some studying, because I have an exam like, I don't know, in a few days or like in a few weeks. I have a practice exam tomorrow at my college. That aside, if you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like it helps with my algorithm, sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, I did start multi streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. So if you guys haven't followed me already on Twitch and Kick, and you guys enjoy my content, make sure you guys follow me. The link is in the description. And if you guys haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to me on YouTube as well. With that said, make sure to join my Discord server as well. The link is in the description and in the pinned comments. And well, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.